Nature governs through absolute boundaries, unseen thresholds that living creatures are never meant to breach. But occasionally, the natural order disregards its own mandates. And in those moments, the outcome is truly unsettling. This predator wasn't merely oversized, it achieved a scale that defied biological logic. Contemporary serpents already stretch the edges of physics. The anacondas, the pythons. Some grow to lengths that still haunt scientific minds. Yet even these titans bow to rigid constraints. Climate, atmospheric oxygen, caloric intake. Without perfect balance, mass becomes a fatal burden. But 60 million years in the past, those universal laws were utterly suspended. Within the steaming marshes of prehistoric South America, a leviathan emerged that dismantled every expectation. Paleontologists labeled it Titanoboa. The landscape Titanoboa patrolled was an alien realm, sweltering, saturated, overflowing with life. For ectothermic life, heat is the ultimate engine. Feverish temperatures fueled an explosive metabolism. Enriched oxygen levels forged more powerful muscle, and the world was a buffet of prey. Titanoboa wasn't an isolated anomaly. Throughout that era, evolution churned out monsters. Gargantuan turtles, colossal crocodilians, even riverfish dwarfing anything found today. This transcended mere scale. This was absolute hegemony. Titanoboa didn't rely on velocity. It weaponized the unavoidable. Within the tepid mires of prehistoric South America, its colossal frame remained phantom still beneath the murky surface. Rotting logs, drowned timber. The boundary between the terrain and the predator simply dissolved. Victims didn't retreat toward peril. They unknowingly drifted into its gravity. When Titanoboa stirred, it wasn't a reflex. It was an ending, a ghostly ripple in the current, a tightening of obsidian coils, and then absolute stillness. Resistance was futile. At this magnitude, constriction wasn't a contest of stamina, it was a systemic termination. Circulation ceased. Awareness flickered out. Defiance became irrelevant. This level of supremacy wasn't forged by muscle in isolation. It was engineered by a planetary state that no longer exists. 60 million cycles ago, Earth was a sweltering hothouse. Tropical climates remained feverish throughout the obsidian nights. For ectothermic life, heat is the ultimate engine. It drives digestion, it accelerates maturity, it erases the need for dormancy. Contemporary serpents are imprisoned by the thermostat. Titanoboa was liberated. Its internal furnace never dimmed. Nutrients were processed with surgical precision. Every surplus calorie was converted directly into mass. Expansion never stalled, it snowballed. And sustenance was omnipresent. Ancient South America was saturated with oversized life. Titanic fish patrolled the silted rivers. Colossal chelonians crowded the muddy banks. Crocodilians reached dimensions that would dwarf modern apex killers. The biosphere didn't merely permit giants, it incentivized them. Titanoboa evolved to exploit this biological imbalance flawlessly. On solid ground, such a frame would have been a liability. In the water, it became a god. Buoyancy neutralized the crushing tax of its weight, permitting fluid, calculated movement. Size ceased to be a burden and became a masterstroke. Unlike venomous vipers that lean on chemical warfare, Titanoboa relied on pure physics. Compression, torque, absolute force. At this diameter, a singular coil could pulverize bone, collapse lungs, and extinguish vitality in heartbeats. And this wasn't an exceptional event, it was the routine. Titanoboa didn't need to conserve its reserves. It didn't need to select its quarry with caution. The environment had dismantled those restrictions entirely. The lithified record validates this reign. Vertebrae salvaged from the dark depths of Colombian mines unveiled dimensions unlike any biological precedent. When paleontologists measured them against modern pythons, the verdict was undeniable. This was not a statistical fluke. It was a biological extreme. Calculations suggest Titanoboa surpassed 40 feet in span, with a girth wide enough to rival industrial-sized barrels. At that magnitude, the simple act of encircling prey triggered a catastrophic collapse. Yet Titanoboa wasn't a lonely monster. This epoch birthed leviathans everywhere, turtles with carapaces broader than modern vehicles, crocodilians capable of ambushing the last dinosaurs, fish that commanded entire fluvial systems. For a fleeting window in Earth's chronology, excess wasn't corrected, it was amplified. But this equilibrium was fleeting. As the eons marched forward, the world cooled. Rainfall cycles mutated. The wetlands evaporated. Oxygen density plummeted. These shifts didn't trigger an immediate purge, they made these titans inefficient. Heavy bodies demand a constant tide of energy. When abundance recedes, scale becomes a death sentence. Titanoboa didn't vanish because it was defeated in combat. It faded because the planet withdrew its permission. Natural selection didn't abandon it. The planetary theatre simply revoked its stage. Today's snakes are faint echoes of this blueprint, shackled by climate, chemistry, and scarce resources. They navigate under oppressive biological ceilings. Titanoboa serves as a reminder that those ceilings are not immutable laws. They are temporary conditions. If the world's furnace ignites once more, if the ecosystems tilt back toward unbridled abundance, those shackles could loosen once again. Not resurrecting Titanoboa in its exact form, but granting something else the right to ascend. A new master optimized for domination under a new set of rules. Titanoboa is more than a relic. It is the evidence. A testament that when nature is unchained, it does not seek harmony, it seeks total control.